Welcome to the native plant portion of the 13th annual Butterfly and Prairie Walk in beautiful Rouge Park. I'm Sally Petrella, president of the Friends of Rouge Park. We're going to take you on a walk today in the butterfly garden located along the Rouge Park Prairie Pathway. And while there are many more species here, we're going to identify 14 common species of native prairie wildflowers. After watching, we invite you to come out yourself and explore the prairie and see how many wildflowers you can find. So this plant right here is called bee balm or monarda, and it's a really wonderful plant for pollinators. You wonder why they call it bee balm? Take a look at all those bees. It's related to oregano, so if you smush a leaf between your fingers, you can get that oregano scent. You can actually take some of those leaves and put it in your spaghetti to flavor it. A lot of pollinators rely on this, a lot of bees. That's also an excellent plant for one of the species that we saw, not a butterfly, but the hummingbird moth. It's a type of moth that actually flies during the day and looks a bit like a hummingbird. So this is purple coneflower or echinacea. It's actually used in some medicines to, people think it improves your immune system. It's a really easy one to grow in your garden and the butterflies absolutely love it. Right behind it is a gigantic version of something called Joe Pye weed. They say it was named after a Native American named Joe Pye who used it for medicine, for healing people. There's a lot of different types of Joe Pye weed. This one happens to be really tall, but you can put one in your garden that's far shorter.
Tall ironweed has beautiful torch-like magenta flowers that top the tall stems in late summer. The tough stems that persist all winter are strong like iron and grow back when cut like a weed. Native Americans made a tea from the leaves they used to treat female problems. The intense purple blooms attract lots of pollinators.
So this is, I think it's called gray-headed coneflower. You kind of see that cone there at the top. This is a very good plant for butterflies and other pollinators. And then right over there, full of bees, you can see one of our native sunflowers. Maybe you're familiar with the big sunflowers that people like to grow. We have a lot of native sunflowers, and that's one of them.
Culver's root is a tall plant with spiky white flowers that resembles a candelabra. It was named for a doctor who promoted its medicinal use. Its bitter root can be used as a laxative or emetic to induce vomiting. Pollinators love this plant.
It's a native prairie plant. It's called rattlesnake master. Apparently Native Americans used to use the plant to treat snake bite. It looks like a yucca. It actually is not a yucca. It's in the carrot family. But it has these really interesting flowers that are a little shaped almost like a coronavirus.
This plant is black-eyed Susan. You may be familiar with this common garden plant with an obvious name, though some people call them brown-eyed Susans. Pollinators love this plant. It is easy to grow, but is a short-lived perennial that will often reseed itself.
So this right here is one of our native prairie grasses. It's called big blue stem, or it's also called turkey foot. If you look at that, it looks like a turkey foot stuck up in the air. This is one of our very tall native grasses. You see it's even taller than me. And in the fall, this turns a lovely, lovely golden color. This is a gorgeous plant. It's called liatris, or purple gay feather. It's just absolutely beautiful, and the pollinators really love it. So this big one right here next to the liatris is a swamp milkweed. So a lot of people are familiar with the common milkweed that butterflies use to lay their eggs. This is a similar plant, but it's a little bit more attractive and a little less weedy than the common milkweed.
While not actually a mint, but with a similar appearance and aroma, mountain mint is a pollinator magnet. Its tiny flowers that bloom over a long period of time provide plenty of nectar for a spectacular assortment of bees, wasps, moths, and butterflies.
So this plant right here is called rosinweed, and it actually produces kind of a sticky substance that Native Americans used to chew like gum. So rosinweed is a pretty tough prairie plant. It grows very tall, so might not be appropriate for your home garden, but it's a great prairie plant and pollinators just love it. This is one of my absolute favorite plants because it's so interesting. It's called prairie dock, and it has these leaves that if you touch them, it's like sandpaper. They're really, really tough. So not many insects chew on that. This time of year, and a little bit later into the fall, it puts up a nice tall stalk and has these flowers that look a little bit like sunflowers. And this plant, like all prairie plants, has deep, deep roots, so it can survive drought or fire. Thank you for joining us on our 13th annual Butterfly and Prairie Walk. Come on out and learn about native prairie plants you can find here in Rouge Park. You can find directions to get here and more information about this beautiful restored native prairie, the butterflies, and the native prairie plants you saw today on our website, rougepark.org. And please consider becoming a member of the Friends of Rouge Park. It's only $5 a year and will help us to continue to improve and promote Rouge Park and all it has to offer. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.